Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable our lecturer, Mr. Muhammad Supardi. Thank you for attending our meeting today. Also, my beloved friends. God bless you all. Before we started, I would like to introduce my group. We are from group 9. My name is Novita Handayani, and my partner, Salsa Triagustina. I would like present the result of our discussion. The material is editing specialist text like a journal article, proceeding, academic books, and research results. This is a table of contents of our discussion today. First is journal article, second is proceeding, third is academic books, and fourth is research report or results. Okay, the first material is journal article. Journal are periodic scientific communication media. They function to record and disseminate scientific developments and are officially published. This is the standard structure for journal article. The basic part of scientific article are there. One is title, second is author, third is abstract, and the fourth is text, and five is introduction. There are materials and methods, and results, and discussion. And six is reference, seven is notes, and the last is acknowledgement. Okay, the next is title. The title is likely to be present in bibliographies and subjects index stored in bibliographies database and cited in other articles. This is a good title for a research report. One is contains as few words as possible. Second is describes the contents of the paper accurately. Third is describe the subjects as specifically as possible within the limits of space. Four is avoid abbreviations, formulas, and jargons. Five is usually omits the verb. Six is as easy as possible to understand. And last is contains keyword. Okay, here are some examples of title. One is the relationship of brevity and readability in titles. Second is readability in titles, the impact of brevity. And the third is using authentic material in teaching procedure texts for students in college. Okay, next material is author. The names of the author should present no problems. After all, authors know their own names and how to spell them. This author name should be in the article. First one is be complete enough to ensure proper identification. And second, it should be include only people who are truly the author of the article. And third is list the author in a logical order. And the fourth is be followed by an address for each author. Here are some examples of author names. First one is Johnny Limark. We should list in the article S, Johnny, and L, Mark. And second is Ahmed Jamal and Jung Jeffrey. Okay, next is abstract. Abstract, also called summaries, usually appear at the beginning of the article but may come at the end. This is a good abstract for the article. First one is the abstract must be short. And second is written in normal language. And the third is stands on its own. And the fourth is report the objective of the research is extent or scope, the method used by reference if they are standard, or describe briefly if they are not, and the main results including any newly observed fact, the principal conclusion, and their significance. And the last is contains all the keywords by which the paper should be indexed. Next is in the text we have introductions. Introduction should be relatively short. It is often too long in manuscripts, especially in paper from conference. This is a good introduction for the article. The first one is define the nature and the extent of the problem studied. And the second, the introduction must be relates the research to previous work, perhaps by a brief review of the literature. And the third is the introduction should be explain the objective and method of investigation. And the fourth is introduction, the logical order of discussion that will be followed in the rest of the paper. And the fifth is in the introduction should be states the principal results of the investigation. And the last is the introduction must be defined any specialist terms or abbreviation to be used in what follows. Okay, this is the example of the good abstract. And the next is materials and method. In the reporting the materials and methods used in the research, the author must provide all the information that will allow another researcher to judge the study or actually to repeat the investigation and the test of the results. As appropriate, however, this section should be include one is the design of the experiment, second is any plants or animals involved with exact description like genus, species, strains, cultivar, line, and etc. And the third is the material used with exact technical specification and quantities and their source or method or preparation. The fourth is the assumptions made. The last is the method followed, usually in chronological order, described with its most precision and detail as necessary. And next is results. The results are the core of this paper. The section presents the data and the researcher has found. The editor must present the results there are one is are simply and clearly stated. And the second, the result must be report representative data rather than endlessly repetitive data. And the third is the result must be reduced large masses of data to means along with the standard error or standard deviations. The first is report repetitive data in tables and graphs, not in the text. 5 is repeat in the text only the most important findings shown in tables and graphs. And 6 is include negative data, what was not found if they are affect the interpretation of results. And next is give only data that relate to the subjects of the paper as defined in the introduction. And next is refer in text to every table and figure by number. And last is include only tables, figures, and graphs that are necessary, clear, and worth reproducing. The next is discussion. In the discussion section, the author explains what the result mean and their implication for future study. A good discussion must be one is does not repeat what has already been said in the review of literature or in the results. And the second is discussion must be relates the results to the question that we are set out in the introduction. And the third is in discussion must be shows relationship between the facts observed during this investigation. And the fourth in discussion must be show how the results and interpretation agree or don't agree with previously published work. And the sixth, in discussion must be discussed theoretical implication of the work. And next is in discussion must be states conclusion with evidence for each. And next is in discussion must be indicates the significance of the results. And the last in discussion must be suggest future research that is planned or is needed to follow up the results. The next is footnote. Footnotes should be avoided in general, and footnotes are more often used to provide information the author feels is it important but would interpret the flow of discussion. And footnotes are indicated in the text by a superior number, 1, 2, or a superior letter like A or B, or a symbol. The next is acknowledgement. Acknowledgement from a separate section of the article in mini journal. Here, the author has a chance to thank any institution or individual who helped significantly in the investigation. The acknowledgements are also a suitable place to recognize that the paper arises from a thesis. If no separate place is provided for acknowledgement, they may have to be included in the introduction or as an endnote. Okay, next is citation. Authors support their arguments by citing previously published material. Readers may want to refer to those publications to get information for their own purpose or to check the author used to the cite material. This is three main systems of citation are used in scientific publication today. The R1 is name and year. There's also called author date, like the example you can see in the PPT. And the second is number, and this is the example you can must be seeing in the PPT too. And the next is number, but with reference in alphabetical order. Now here's the example you must be seeing in the PPT. Next is reference. Each reference must be described in detail at the end of the article. The list is usually headed literature sites or reference sites or simply reference. This is a reference to a journal article should contain one is names and initial of all author. Although if there are many authors, some journal will list only the senior author. Second is title and subtitle. Third is name of the journal. This is usually abbreviated. And four is volume number. And next is first and last page number. And there are year of publication, and the last is month or number of issues if pages are not numbered consecutively throughout the volume. Here are in the PPT, you can see the example of the reference. Okay, the next material will be differed by Salsa Triagustina. Salsa.
Okay, thank you. Next slide, please. The proceeding of a conference, workshop, or symposium proceeding should be published quickly. If possible, they should be published within 4 to 6 months of the conference ideally. If they take a year or more to publish, much of the information will be outdated, including recommendation. Here are 8 steps by which editor can speed publication. For the first is help plan, second is divine job, and third, send instruction, and 4. Set the deadline. 5. Go to the meeting. 6. Finish the job. 7. Settle problem. And the last is publish quickly. Okay, next slide, please. For the first is help plan. There is a process of the publishing agreement from the publisher to the editor and author. And second, divine jobs is should be responsible. My recommend revision have to resolve difference of opinion between author and copy editor can do other work involved in the publication. And the third send instruction. This is the organizer should be requested papers be submitted well in advance of the meeting. Type in a form suitable for publication. And the next slide. Number 4 is set a deadline. Set a date by which all manuscript must be submitted for editing and allow enough time to finish the editing before the meeting. And the five go to the meeting. This is a for speedy publication. It is essential that the manuscript editor be at the conference. And six, finish the job. Try to complete the editing before the conference ends. Next slide. And seven, it is a settled problem. Sometimes an author cannot revise a paper at the conference. Give the author a deadline by which the revised manuscript must be in your hand. And the last is publish quickly. The typesetter and printer as well as the publisher must be aware of the need for speed, set schedule, and see that they are kept. Okay, the next material, please. This is academic book will present by Novita Beck.
Okay, thank you, Salsa. The next material is academic books. Academics books or scientific books have the same anatomy as a reading book in general. A complete book consists of four parts. There are one is cover, two is preliminaries, third is text matter, and the fourth is postliminaries. Okay, the first one is cover. The book cover is the identity of a book. It contains three parts, including the front cover, back of the cover, and back cover. This is the front cover or the face of the book. There are main titles, headings or subheadings, name in order of the author, editor, or translator, book publisher logo, back of the book, and the last is back cover of the book. Okay, next is preliminaries. This section includes a number of pages of text, which can be divided into several sections. There are one is French page, second is copyright page, third is primary title page, and fourth is editorial page. This is in print and catalog in publications, and the last is dedication page. Okay, this is a table of content. Table of content is a page that indicates the main content in the book. The table of content is like a map that shows the location of the part of the book. The table of content is provided to make it easier for readers to see the contents of the chapter or topic in the book. The next is image list page. A list package of image is provided if there are at least 10 images in the book. The list of images rotates the number, description, and the page of the image and is placed on the odd or recto page. Next is table list of page. The list of figure contains the number, description, and page of the figure and is placed on the page or recto. First is introduction to the publisher. The second is foreword, and the third is preface. Okay, next is text matter. The content section is the part of the contents and discuss the information or core material of the book. This section is located between the beginning and the end. This section is the core of the book. Typically, page numbering begins to Roman numerals and consists of the following elements. The text matter of the book is one is introduction, chapter or section, table and illustration, and citation, and the last is closing. Okay, this is a post-liminaries. The final part of the book includes elements that sequentially consist of a bibliography, glossary terms, a list of abbreviation and acronyms, attachment, index or alignment, and author biographies. Okay, next material is result of the research presented by Salsa Triagustina. Salsa, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Han. Next slide, please. Result research is written work created using scientific methods and requires scientific research or case study. For the characteristic of writing research is for the first objective. This is the writer must express what is and not make it up. And the second is systematic, writing according to a coherent and mutually continuous flow of understanding. And the third is clear and open. A written information can express something clearly and always able to resolve, update if there are new, better opinion, and their truth can be tested through criticism from other people. And the last is logical. The information made must have argument that can be accepted by reason, common sense, and are coherent. Next slide. For the standard structure for research result is have the basic part of research report a result title, abstract, introduction, literature review, research methodology, research result, discussion, conclusion, and bibliography. Next slide, please. For the first is title. A good research title has the characteristics of being short, clear, and can describe the general content of the scientific work so that readers can imagine in advance what the content will be like. For the title placement, it can be placed in the cover of a scientific work, or it can also be placed at the very top to start a work. Next slide. The second is abstract and introduction. For the abstract is a short summary of all research containing the problem, objective, method, and conclusion. Explained briefly in a maximum of 250 words. And for the introduction, this section must contain the background of the problem formulation, and clear research objective. If there is anything extra, it is usually a research benefit. Next slide. Uh, and literature review. A literature review contains previous research that has been conducted on the same topic as the one you are working on. By making a good literature review, it will be easy to validate that the research has unique value and is not the same as previous research. Next slide. Research methodology. For the research methodology is the method or technique used to complete the research carried out in scientific work. Usually contain how the research was conducted, research sequence, including research design, sample population, data collection, technique, and data analysis. Next slide. And this is the research result. Research results are the final result of the research process carried out by researchers. Research result can be in the form of finding or data obtained through data collection and analysis, and can provide answer to research question or research objective that have been set. This section contains the main finding of the research. This can be in the form of a graph, table, or narrative. Next slide, please. For discussion, the discussion discuss the finding and provide an interpretation of the result obtained. It should compare the result with previous research and highlight the implication of the research. In fact, this discussion section can be directed toward discussing new findings that can be used as other innovation. Next slide. In the conclusion and bibliography, the conclusion summarize the main finding and show the conclusion obtained from the research. Make sure the conclusion answer the research objectives and the scientific work. The final section is the bibliography, namely, it is a contains all the reference used in scientific work. It should match the desired writing style such APA or MLA. Next slide. Okay, thank you for our presentation. I think that's enough. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right.